Hi everyone, I am here today to go over with you guys our phonics. Today we are going to talk about karate, kind of. So you guys have been working so hard on writing longer words and reading longer, trickier words. And the way we've been doing that is we've been breaking them up part by part. And then once we've done that, we crash them back together, right? So especially in our writing, you guys have been working tons and tons on this, right? Writing the word part by part, and then you can check and make sure, does it look right? Does it sound right? Does it make sense? Right? As you're writing. The same thing can happen when you're doing your reading. So today what we're going to do, I want to teach you that when it comes to tackling the longest and trickiest words, it helps us to think about them in parts, to think about those words in parts. You can karate chop them. See, I told you we talk about karate. And then you can break off the endings and look at the beginning part and break it part by part, and then you got it, crash them together. We've talked about this so many times, so I want us to really take a deep dive into this and find some longer, trickier words and really work on breaking them apart and then crashing them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Rashid's writing here. He is writing a chapter book, and right now he's writing about his PE class. And as we read this, there are going to be some longer, trickier words in his writing. And what we're going to do as we read this story is karate chop those words, break them into parts, and then crash them together if we're not quite sure what word Rashid is trying to tell us. So at the beginning of Rashid's writing, right here, it says, in PE class, there are many, this is a big word right here. This is a very big word, isn't it? Let's break it apart. What I want you guys to do is you can cover up the ENT on your screen. I'm also going to write it on the whiteboard here, but I'm going to break this word into some parts. So I'm going to karate chop the ending off. I'm going to get rid of ENT, and I'm only going to look at the first part. So if I look at the first part, I have this. What is that word? If I just see that, can you read that word? Give it a go. And then I'm going to go over it with you. You got it? Yeah, we have a D that says D. D, I, differ. 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 Does that sound right? Does it look right? Yeah. Okay, now the second part of the word was ENT. So don't look at this first part. Erase it from your mind. I'm going to take it away so you can't even see it. And let's look at this word. How would you read this? Ent, right? Ent. Does that make sense? Does it look right? Sound right? Yeah, it does. So we have differ. Let's write that one again. Differ. And then you have ent. Now, you guys are going to take those two sounds that you just figured out on your own and crash them together. Take it, differ, and crash it together. What'd you get? Yeah, different. Does that look right? Yep. Does it sound right? Does it make sense? Yes, it does. So let's go back and read that sentence again. Because remember, when we get stuck on longer, trickier words, we don't just keep reading. We stop. We go back and reread and smooth out our words. It's going to help us with our comprehension. So let's go back to the beginning. In PE class, there are many different things that we like to do. One thing we like to do, or one thing we like to play in class is, oh my goodness, this is another big word right here. Let's do this one together. Let's erase this word. This word is a bit longer, but this is one of those words we've talked about. It's a compound word. Let's break it apart, okay? So let's break it apart. I noticed the first part of that word has a word I might know. Do you know this word? Yeah, it's kick, ick. And then the second part of the word, the second part is this, and you guys know this word. I know you know this word because this word right here is a snap word, and you guys all know that in a snap. This is all. And if there's a B in front of it, what does it make that word become? Yeah, it's ball. So we have our two parts. We have kick and we have ball. And now you need to crash them together. What do you have? Yeah, kickball. You have kickball. Good job. Where did I put my eraser? Here it is. All right, so let's go back to the next sentence and see what Rashid has to say. It says, we try to run the bases very, this is a tricky one. This is a word where we're going to karate chop the ending off. Okay, so let's look at it. Here's the whole word. That's the whole word. Remember when we talked about vowels and noticing whether they're together or apart? That will help you break apart the word. If you're not sure how to break apart this word, this trick will help you. Okay, so we're going to find the vowels in this word, and I see I. Oops, this marker doesn't work very well. Let's move this one to the side. We have I, which is a vowel, and we know the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes, you got it, Y. So here is our second vowel right here. So there's two vowels. Are they together or are they apart? Yeah, they're apart. So that means that this word has two syllables. Two syllables, right? So we are going to break it apart. Here is the one syllable, and here is the second syllable, right? So here's the first word part. And the second word part is this part. Now, that's like when we karate chop off the ending. We know that this word part says what? It's Lee, right? Sometimes Y says the long I sound or the long E sound. And in this case, it's saying the long E sound. So this says Lee. And then this part, what do we think? I think you know this one, right? We've got the Q and the U, and they go together. They're like best buddies. They never leave each other, right? We've got the Q and the U that's going to say qua, right? Qua. And then we have this part. We saw this earlier. Qua-ick. Quick. Quick. Lee. Now take those two parts and crash them together. What's the word? Yeah, it's quickly. Awesome. That was a really tricky one. But remember, if you come across a tricky one and you're not sure how to break it apart, you can always find the vowels to figure out how many syllables are in that word and then break it apart from there. All right, let's go ahead and erase this one and move on to our next word. All right, Rashid then goes on to say, we try, ooh, this one, I think you guys can do it on your own. I want you to try this one on your own. I'm going to give you a minute to figure out this longer, trickier word, and then I'm going to work with you together on it. This one, remember, karate chop that word. Think about what we talked about earlier in this session about chopping off those endings. Okay, go ahead and go to work on this one. I'm going to give you just a minute and then we will do it together. You got it. All right, guys, you ready? Awesome. I think you guys have got this one. You guys are so smart. So we have this word up here. Here is the whole word. And when I see this word, do you know what I notice? I notice a common ending. You guys are all familiar with this common ending, right? This right here. We all know that that says what? Ing. Yeah, so that's one of our word parts. Here's one word part. We're going to chop it off and we're going to focus just on the first word part. We have this blend. Okay, if we take those two letters and we put them in our letter smoothie, we put the B in, we put the L in our smoothie, spin it up, spin it up. What does that blend now say? It says bl, right? We have bl, ah, k, block, block, yeah, block. And the second part is ing. And when you crash those two parts together, what do you get? Yeah, you get blocking. Awesome. You guys are doing so good. We've got one last word we'll do together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and reread all of Rashid's writing as a whole. Okay, the last part says, we try blocking other, I see this word, blank from getting to home base. Okay, so we can also remember and remind ourselves what would make sense here as we are reading. We try blocking other blank from getting to home base. So let's write down our word. And again, there should be something you notice here. Do you notice a common ending? Yeah, I noticed a common ending too. Right here, we've talked about this common ending that says ers, right? Ers. It's kind of like when we talked about my name, Heather, that has ER at the end, right? Same thing, ers. Okay, so we're going to put the word parts. We have ers over here, and then this one you all know. I know you know because that's one of our snap words, and we know it in a snap. What's that word? You got it? Play. Awesome. So we have play, ers. Crash it together. What do you got? Players. Awesome. Now, let's go back and think. Maybe you weren't quite sure. You're like, I think that sounds right. Let's go back and read the sentence. We try blocking other players from getting to home base. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does it look right? Yep. Does it sound right? Yes, it does. Awesome. All right, so what we're going to do always, because we stopped a lot when we were reading this, didn't we? And a lot of times when we stop to solve tricky words, we're so focused on solving those tricky words, we might forget about what we read. So it helps to go back and reread so that we can really understand all that we've read. So when a teacher or somebody asks you, hey, what did you read? What was it about? You can tell them, okay? So let's go back and reread. It says, in PE class, there are many different things that we like to do. One thing we like to play in class is kickball. We try to run the bases very quickly. We try blocking other players from getting to home base. Awesome. Well, Rashida's doing such a good job writing, and I know you guys are too. So while you guys are reading today and while you're writing, I would love it if you could find a longer, trickier word that's either difficult to write for you or to read, and I want you to break it apart. Karate chop that word, whether you're writing or you're reading, and work it part by part and crash them together and ask yourself when you're done, does it look right? Does it sound right? Does it make sense? You guys have got this. So excited to see all your guys' work. I'll see you later. Bye.